Welcome back, Mando.
Oh, greetings, Bucketheads. Mavar Tagar. Welcome to our 368th Night Hunting the Hunters and the Hunted episode of MandoVision. I am your host, Nargai Tom. Thank you so much for checking out this small independent Star Wars podcast. So glad you're here. Reach out to us. Reach out to me via the socials at Mando_Vision on X and Insta. MandoVision at Blue Sky, and of course you can email the show mandovisiontom@gmail.com. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share this show with all the Mandalorians in your coverts. All right, Bucketheads, we are back. It's Tuesday, and we're here to talk about the second chapter of Maul that came out this week, which is Chapter 6. That wasn't a confusing statement at all, my friends. Don't worry. I'll clean it up. We'll get better. But yes, they're dropping 2 episodes. We're dropping 2 episodes. It's all lining up, and things are rocketing at this point. Last episode, Chapter 5, sort of set the new tone for what's going on Ch.6 with the Empire now present and taking control of not only the situation with Maul, but also the planet itself. So the power dynamic has shifted on Ch.6, and now that everything's been realigned, this episode... Ooh, it just puts the pedal to the floor because this one goes to 11. What a great episode. Again, we talked about yesterday about how with that new tone in place, it was a slower episode. It was our characters, the deck getting reshuffled and our characters sort of realigning to the new power dynamic of Ch.6. So that had us slow down. And we only really had like one little action sequence in the entire episode. Not with this one today. This one, my friends, lots of action, lots of big moments, and the crucible that Devin now finds herself in gets more and more interesting as Maul just continues to be the devil whispering in her ear, tempting her to the dark side of the Force. All right, let's go ahead. I think it's time we dive into it. So we're going to do what we do on the podcast, which is give credit where credit is due. And thank the people who made this fine Star Wars entertainment for us to consume. All right, let's do it. Star Wars, Maul, Shadow Lord, Season 1, Chapter 6, Night of the Hunted. Original air date April 20th, 2026. Written by Christopher Yost. Directed by Stuart Lee. Our cast for this week's episode. Sam Witwer is Maul. Gideon Adlon is Devin Azara. Pamela Adlon is Rena Soul. Richard Iowati is Two Boots. Charlie Bushnell is Rayleigh Lawson. David W. Collins is Spybot. Sam Corlett is Officer Reb. Dennis Haysbert as Master Iko Diodaki. AJ Lacascio is Marok. Vanessa Marshall is Rook Cast. Wagner Mora is Brander Lawson. Alistair James Murden is Lieutenant Blake. Let's talk about Marok for just a second here. We're going to spend some time on this guy in the episode, but why has this Inquisitor got a name? I mean, we know he's first brother, but did they go too far by giving him a name for Ahsoka? And now we're like, oh no, he's got this. He's an Inquisitor. We couldn't just call him first brother then. But he was Marok, but now he's officially an Inquisitor, and now we have to kind of retroactively call him first brother. But no one calls him by any name in this show so far. So something to ponder. Something to ponder, friends. All right, the plot for this week's episode. Pushed to their breaking point, our heroes have no choice but to run. I mean, the name of the episode sort of says it all, Night of the Hunted. And boy, oh boy, some of those things we pondered at the end of last week's episode, they paid off real quick. So let's go ahead and get into it. You know what that means. It is time. Strap on your buckets. Let's go.
Get out of here. We'll hold them off. You're going to have to relocate the covert. This is the way. This is the way.
All right, we open the episode with Maul in his little underground city lair place that I still it's such an impressive structure. It's almost like an underground city down there. I'd love to know more about if it's just some sort of facility for making sure everything works in the city proper, or if it's I'd love to know more about this place. Visually, it's stunning. It's massive, but we see Maul out on a platform, going through his forms, and showing off those skills with that lightsaber blade as he prepares, because he knows what's coming. And then Rook Cast arrives to really prove that he's right, that a fight is coming, and that fight would be in the form of an Inquisitor who they have video surveillance of at their old base of operations, making his way around. So the Jedi Hunters are here, much as Maul predicted, and as he will confirm for us later in the episode, he sees an opportunity. Meanwhile, back at Lawson's, he's hanging out with Uncle Docky and Devin, and he wants the Jedi out. Riley and Devin, they leave the room so the adults can talk. There's a great joke that Lawson throws at Devin, telling Riley to make sure she doesn't steal anything from his room, because, she's the thief. Meanwhile, Echo Diodaki tells of the Jedi Purge, and he's asking Lawson for help escaping from the planet, escaping from the Empire. And Lawson says he can't help him. He's like, I gotta protect my kid. The Empire's already up my bum, and like that can't be a good thing. And he's just not gonna do it. He wants, Lawson, his world's already turned upside down, and now getting involved with the Jedi, that can only make it worse. So he very politely declines. Meanwhile, we get sort of a very interesting interaction between Devin and Riley, and it's strange. I mean, Riley's like a teenage boy, and now he has a teenage Jedi girl in his room, and like he's trying to like clean it up, and I think he's trying to talk to her. I don't know if I'm reading into this or if I'm misinterpreting the way in which the lines are delivered, but Devin does not seem to. Again, these characters are probably around the same age, but obviously Devin's upbringing being much, much different. She can't relate to this kid at all. She sort of turns her nose up to the idea that he plays sports. She sort of, again, I might be reading into it, but the way she says things about her upbringing being different than his, also sort of sounds like she's looking down at the way in which he was raised. That, again, maybe I'm reading into it, but she kind of sounded a little snotty. Like, hey, I was raised at the Jedi Temple. I'm better than you. I have been chosen for like a bigger destiny, and like you're playing tiddlywinks here on Ch.6. Again, it's not like she's not overtly arrogant. It's just the tone in which she says the words. And maybe it hit my ear funny. How do you all feel about it? Do you think Devin was a little out of line? Or is she just so... her and Riley are just so vastly different that it's just... There is no commonality between the two, and she's not going to try and pretend that there is. Maybe I'm reading into it. Let me know if I'm going cuckoo birds. Meanwhile, back with Docky and Lawson. Lawson is telling of the Inquisitor. And as he tells of the Inquisitor, Docky gets concerned. Docky gets real concerned. And just as we sort of speculated at the end of the last episode, that Lawson was kind of released as bait. They suspected Lawson was more involved than he was, and that seems to pay off, because as soon as they mention the Inquisitor begins to cut through Lawson's front door with his lightsaber. It's a cool moment for the Inquisitor to announce himself, and it leads into a really great lightsaber fight in Lawson's apartment. A fire breaks out. Lawson and his kid escape through the window, and they can't go down because there's stormtroopers on the ground, so they go up to the roof. Docky sends Devin to protect them. They make their way to the roof, and more stormtroopers arrive via transport, and a fight ensues on the rooftops. And Devin and Lawson, again, taking turns to verbally spar with each other while engaging in fights against the TK stormtroopers. And Riley sort of seems like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you fighting the Empire? Like, the Empire are the good guys, right? Like, they're here to protect us, and so why are you shooting at them, Dad? And Brandon Lawson has to sort of be like, the Empire is not what you think it is. Just because your mom works for them doesn't mean they're the good guys. They don't get that deep into it, but I think Brander and his son are going to have a conversation at some point down the road about who and what the Empire really is, especially after this episode, because things move pretty quick from this point on. All right, so eventually, Dockie's able to escape from the fire apartment and make it to the roof himself. Devin's going to capture one of the gunships, and everyone can escape on the gunship from the First Brother, who also has made his way to the rooftop. Again, more lightsaber fun between Echo Diodaki and First Brother, a.k.a. Marok. It's, again, really great sequence here. And then we get some aerial pursuit across the skyscape of Ch.6. Devin shows off her flying skills, much to Lawson's chagrin, as he seemed to not have much confidence or faith in her skills. More ships pursuing, more fighting. Eventually, they're going to crash. They're going to make their escape into a building. Back at the police headquarters, we see Officer Reb, and he's sort of lamenting the escalation of the situation, the pervasive amount of stormtroopers that are all over the place. And Two Boots is there and admiring the Imperial resources and believing that they're going to get this all handled pretty quickly with all these stormtroopers around and the Empire's willingness to share information and all these things. And that Lawson's going to be really, really pleased when this is all wrapped up. And that's when Brander Lawson's image now shows up on every wanted poster across the city. It's a great, funny sequence. Again, the timing of the events in this episode, I think, is really spot on. Whether that was in Christopher Yost's original script or something that they kind of put together on the fly under director Stuart Lee, I'm not entirely certain, but I think it's really, really well executed. We find out from Lieutenant Blake that Brander Lawson is now wanted for treason. Oh, and Blake takes notice of Two Boots' two boots and decides that Two Boots shouldn't have those two boots and tells him to get rid of them because they aren't, not code, but you know what I mean. They aren't proper footwear attire for Two Boots to be wearing. And he tells him to get rid of them immediately. And Two Boots, I don't think, like that very much. Meanwhile, on the run, Lawson takes Riley and the Jedi to Rena Sol's casino for help getting off the planet. The casino is not too busy. It seems like the Imperial presence has been bad for business. But, again, Lawson, this is one of those little things that kind of irks me a little bit. And maybe Lawson doesn't know that he's public enemy number one just yet, but he has no problem just, walking out in the open. And it's just, too much exposure right there. Because we see Rena Sol talking to a patron of the casino, who definitely notices who Lawson is. This sort of weird fox face alien. Sort of Lawson kind of captures their eye, and I am pretty darn sure they don't show it, but I'm assuming that's who rats out to the Imperials that they're there, and why the Imperial presence gets there so quickly. Again, we don't see that scene, we don't see that sequence, but they linger on that character long enough for us to, I think, probably connect the dots on that one. That this little fox-faced alien is gonna rat him out. Whether for some cashola, I don't know. I guess we don't know. I guess we're not gonna get to find out. But the Empire shows up at the casino. Meanwhile, well, they will. Meanwhile, we get Spybot spying on the imps. Maul's keeping tabs on everybody, and of course, as we said earlier, he now sees an opportunity to further the temptation of Devin to the dark side by coming to her aid against First Brother, a.k.a. Marok. All right, the imps do show up at the casino. They begin fighting. Rena fights the imps as they sort of just take over the place. Devin and Riley flee. Daki and Lawson are going to hold them off. They make their way into the garage, and basically they get separated. Everyone kind of gets separated at a certain point in this one. So you have Riley and Devin off on their own, and then when they make their way to the garage, you have Daki and Lawson out on their own, avoiding Imperials, getting into fights. You got Daki and Lawson versus the imps working together, and we see them kind of working together. And again, some fun verbal sparring between the two characters that I enjoyed very much. But at this point, everything sort of takes spot. The spotlight sort of shifts to Devin, right? Spybot doing Spybot things, also finds Devin's location, and of course is going to relay that to Maul because Maul has a plan. And this is, again, sort of the heart of the episode, right? Is Devin protecting Riley and fighting with the Inquisitor, a.k.a. First Brother, a.k.a. Marok. And we get a great sequence on the sort of like, I don't know, it's a train of some sort, but it's like full of parts and supplies and things like that. It's not a passenger train by any stretch, and it's exposed. So it's not enclosed at all, but they are in a tunnel. And it's a great sequence with the lightsaber fighting. You know, you have Devin's blue blade versus the single red blade of the Inquisitor. Again, he's not even double-sided lightsaber in this fight. Like, I think he knows that he is the lightsaber master compared to Devin. So he's not even doing two blades here. He's like, I got you with one, girly girl. Don't even think I don't, because I do. But it's a great sequence. They're on the train. You have the lights of the tunnel flashing by, the whirring of the blades. And again, the way this series has been animating the lightsaber blades has been spectacular. I really love it. It stands out. It's very unique compared to some of the other lightsaber combat we've gotten over the years in the animation. I mean, they almost look like fire sticks at this point. Like, it's so cool, and it looks great in this tunnel sequence. Really watch this one. It's a great back and forth with Devin holding her own to a degree, but you also think that the Inquisitor is holding back at the same time and not fully engaging. And finally, he gets to the point where like they get face to face. And he wants to know about Maul, wants to know where Maul is. Like, he's definitely under the impression that they are all in league with each other, which is interesting because last week, I mean, he saw evidence of a lightsaber fight, but the way he's processing is that maybe they fought, but like now they're working together because, again, Lawson is the common denominator here. So Lawson has the Jedi with him, and so Lawson must know where Maul is, right? That sort of seems to be the dots, the way that the Inquisitor is aligning these dots. Again, a great back and forth here. The Inquisitor wants to know where Maul is, and that's when we hear Maul say, I am right here. And he's on top of the train, and he springs into action. And there's a moment where Devin sort of ponders, are we going to do this? But they're going to do this. Devin and Maul team up to fight the Inquisitor. And again, it's stunning. It's spectacular. It's great. At a couple different points, Devin is separated, you know, keeping Riley safe, and we get more Maul versus the Inquisitor. But great lightsaber combat. It's so well done, so well executed. And eventually, Devin and Maul are going to get the upper hand, and they're able to get the Inquisitor onto a separate car, and Devin is able to cut that car free from the train, and they pull away and leave Marok in the dust. And we end on a really great shot of Maul up against the tunnel, the onrushing tunnel around his red and black visage, the horns on his head, the whole thing. It's got like this really like hypnotic quality to it. And then he tells Devin that like, yeah, now you've seen the Jedi Hunters. They're here. Like, this is what we are trying to fight against. Let me show you our enemy. All right. It's a great sequence. And again, the way the visual of the onrushing tunnel around Maul's head, again, a really hypnotic quality to it, as you know, Maul is basically trying to entrance Devin to join him, right? Yeah, he is desperate for this apprentice. He wants to forge a new weapon to fight the Empire, and things like this are only going to help. And so we leave Devin in a very, very vulnerable spot. Now, she's protected Riley. Maul seems to have no interest in him whatsoever, so he's safe. And again, the words that Maul is saying, I think, really resonate for Devin at this point. And then we get to the end. We get to the end, which is the Inquisitor returning to the Star Destroyer and going to make a report via the holocom. Unfortunately, well, first things first. And he reports back to this person on the holocom that Maul is more dangerous than expected and is in league with 2 Jedi. And he wants further instructions. Now, we don't get to see who the Inquisitor is called. Is it the Emperor? Is it the Grand Inquisitor? Is it Darth Vader? We don't know yet. I suspect we will not be kept hanging for too long on that one. Obviously, from the trailers, we know that 11th Brother is coming to Ch.6 here in the very, very near future. So I still believe we're building towards the Vader versus Maul confrontation that we have all wanted to see for so long. It appears we're taking shape on that. It appears we're on that track. Let's hope that's what we get. But yeah, I think we have to worry about 11th Brother first. So probably more Inquisitors coming onto the scene. But I still believe that we will get to Vader by the time this is done. And that's how we close the episode out. For the Inquisitor, First Brother, a.k.a. Marok, asking how to proceed from the mystery figure in the hologram who we can't see. I can't wait to see what's next. This was a slammer jammer of an episode. This is 9.5 buckets. I love this episode. Again, the art direction on this episode is stellar. The lightsaber combat is fantastic. That tunnel sequence is great. The apartment lightsaber battle is great. The rooftop battle is great. The aerial flight pursuit is great. Excellent stuff coming out of this episode. So many things to rewatch. I can't wait to watch it again later today. And I can't wait to watch it innumerable times before I get to the next new installment next week. Yeah, 9 buckets. Check this one out. It's a slammer jammer. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. And that's going to do it for us, Bucketheads. I do have one quick amendment. I mentioned yesterday on the show that I was like, hey, man, wouldn't it be great if I could get my Mandalorian and Grogu tickets now? Guess what? I checked after I recorded, and I can. So I'm not sure when those went on sale, but I'm excited because I'm going to secure my tickets right after I do this podcast. I'm just waiting for a friend to text me back and be like, yes, I will attend said screening with you. And if they don't, I'm still going anyways. So ha, joke's on them. All right, Bucketheads, please go out there. Hold on, whoa. Bucketheads, getting ahead of myself. Thank you for your support. I truly appreciate every single one of you being here, listening, downloading, streaming, and sharing the show. Make sure you're following us on the socials at Mando_Vision on X and Insta, MandoVision at Blue Sky. You can email me, MandoVisionTom@gmail.com. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share this show with all the Mandalorians in your covert. If you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard, and congratulations on joining Buckethead Nation, the best Star Wars supporters on the internet. We are kind, supportive, respectful, tolerant, patient, inclusive. All the things, all the positive things. We got no time for negativity. Even if there's things we don't like about Star Wars, like, we're just cool about it. We don't have tirades. We don't threaten to burn down the franchise. We don't do review bombs. No. Star Wars is for everyone, and there's a flavor for everyone. It is the Baskin-Robbins approach. There is a flavor of Star Wars for every person out there. And just when you find a flavor you don't like, you're just like, nah, it's not my flavor. And you move on to the flavor you like again. It's all good. All right. Go out there. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. We'll be back next week for another 2 episodes of Maul, Shadow Lord. Cannot wait to talk to you guys about those. Let's get out of here. You guys have a good one. Remember, this podcast can only end one way. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
I suppose you'll be heading out.
I'm not.
You should.
It's against the creed. I gave you my word. I'm with you until we both fall.
You really buy into that bantha fodder?
I do.